Welcome to Military Broadcast Radio.
Every view, every listener, and every share helps our mission.
Every donation helps keep military broadcast
on the air. Every donation makes a difference. Thank you for your support. mbradio.us.
Welcome to Truckamouth, the podcast that gives you real insight into the trucking industry while providing a platform for your voice to be heard. Whether you're behind the wheel, managing logistics, or just passionate about the industry, this is the place to build confidence, share experiences, and stay informed. Join us as we tackle the challenges, celebrate the wins, and drive forward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to my underground studio. I'm Truckamouth, and we're back on the road. All right. Hopefully this week we can get through this without a lot of technical difficulties. Let me put my goggles on here. Yeah, so this week's topic is broker liability. Okay, it's been a controversy for years about the liability of the broker as far as the safety, the transportation of the load that he brokered out. And a lot of this is actually most of this I don't need these, is after in lieu of the big Montgomery case that they had where they found a broker liable, and it's all coming down now because of several things, and I'll get into that. So let's get going. All right, so can a broker be held liable for the negligent hiring a truck driver for a carrier he contracted with causes a crash? So can a broker be liable because of the carrier he hired to haul a load got in a crash and killed somebody? Now, that's okay. First off, a broker is a company or a person that has obtained a load from a shipper. He's like the middleman. He obtained a load from the shipper and is finding a carrier to haul that load. And there's a whole lot of bad actor brokers out there. I mean, they're out to get their buck. They're hiring anybody they can for to get these loads out. And I'm not saying all of them. There's just hundreds of brokers out there in the United States. And it's just coming down to the point now where they're holding brokers liable for what they for what the broker now. Now, a broker, when he hires a trucking company to haul his load, okay, only he really sees is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA. I got this too low. The FMCSA's reports on them for the safety, for the out of service hours, for their false reporting logs, for being put out of service because of equipment. So they only see a few things. And now they want brokers to look into carriers more. And actually, I think they should. They want them to look into the trucking companies that they're hiring. More, because there's a lot of fraudulent chameleon carriers out there, which are trucking companies that have been shut down and reopened under other names. And there's all kind of sleazy action going on, man, in the trucking industry. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I'll tell you what, the transportation industry, wow, man. I'll tell you what. So let's get going with this. So can a broker be hired? Oh, held. I'm sorry. Held negligible? I mean, if he's only working on what he has, the information he has in front of him, but now they're doing certain stipulations now where a broker just won't hire you. Well, the big ones won't. So what's being argued? The FAA weighed in, the Federal Aviation Administration, which has been interpreted in two conflicting ways. I'm tongue-tied here today for a little bit. I don't know what the hell. Tongue-tied here. What going here? This way. Hello? And then this way. Okay. So it's got two different provisions here. I'm not going to read them, but one of them's Second known as the safety exemption states that the presumption cannot be restricted safety. Yeah, I can't hardly understand this. So how are brokers going to figure out if a truck driver has an alcohol or drug issue? Okay, if that was the case, they would never give a load to trucker mouth. Okay, so listen. I mean, like I said, the brokers are only going on what's in front of them. And when you get a load from a broker, okay, you're out west, and your trucking company sends you out west, and they're trying to get you back, so they go to a broker. They'll say, okay, call this number. Here's your pickup number. Ask for this person or whatever. Maybe sometimes they won't ask for the person. So you call the number. You can get a hold of the person. This is time consuming. It's pain in the ass. You get a hold of the person. You can say, what's your tractor number? What's your carrier? What's your tractor number? Your trailer number? Okay, your pickup number, which is a 10-digit number. Blah, blah, blah. He might ask a few other questions. And then he gives you the name of the company. I guess you already have the pickup number, and then the address and all that, and then he asks you like how many hours you got left for that day and all that. Anyway, so then you get assigned a load. Okay, so brokers are part of the hiring process of a truck driver's transporting a load. So it goes from the shipper to the broker to the truck driver. And to the carrier who has the truck driver. Okay, and I need to start talking more clearly here. I know that. And like I said, they're being sued. States have the right to be sued for negligent hiring. So now what it is these carriers, these brokers are going to start doing research in these carriers that contract with them. And they're looking into them, and as far as their it's just their whole outline of their company. And because if not, the brokers are coming back on brokers and charging them for being part of the wreck. So a lot of this is in lieu of a big landmark nuclear decision against C.H. Robinson. C.H. Robinson is the biggest broker in the world. Okay. And what happened there is C.H. Robinson hired a carrier that he's been doing business with, whose safety record was and out of service record, out of service numbers, and driver out of service were all below, the national standard. Which means they were in the good, they were in the green of it. They were in the green. They were all out of green light. So this company hauled this load, and a guy got in a multi-vehicle crash where it was a crash, and then that caused him to crash, and somebody was killed. And they came back on C.H. Robinson for a $600 million settlement. And I don't think that's right. C.H. Robinson was only going on what they knew. And the nuclear verdict. C.H. Robinson's good. I worked a lot with C.H. Robinson. They're pretty good. So let me get to this here. I'll find this information. I got it written down, but also got it here in this. Okay, so Judge Brett Kavanaugh, which you probably heard that name already in the news, questioned how brokers are supposed to know everything about a truck driver, using English proficiency as an example. How are brokers going to figure out do truck drivers have a drug and alcohol issue? How are they going to do that? They don't have numbers. They don't have numbers on every driver. Okay, we got to pause there. They don't have numbers on every driver. They have numbers on the carrier. Okay. And, they have a safety record and they have different violations, speeding violations, things like that there. But as long as that's below the line, they're in the green, then they can hire them. So, but now I guess these brokers are, and I'll get to that, they're doing some things. But yeah, they went against C.H. Robinson for a $600 million verdict, charging them they were liable for this crash. Now, it didn't all go on them, okay? It was like 45% the driver's fault, 45% the driver's fault. It came down to like 23% of C.H. Robinson's was at fault. So then there's all kind of stuff going on right now where different states are doing this, different states are doing that. What it comes down to is some states are saying they can be liable, some states are saying they can't be liable. All right, so what it's coming down to is these brokers, these big brokers are they're doing research. They're getting more into the carriers that they contract with, and because if they don't, they can be shut down, and the broker himself or herself can be liable. So what it is see, you to have a safety rating, you have to be pulled over by the DOT, and a safety inspection be done. When you're going through the scale house, it's kind of hard. I'm trying to explain this to someone who actually doesn't know the industry so they can understand this. So if you're going through a scale house, you see them on these big highways, all the trucks pulling in. They get pulled out back and they go through the safety lane, and they get under there and check the brakes and your logs and the tires and all kind of stuff. And then you do good, you get a good safety rating on that. But you can't just ask to be pulled in there. You don't want to be. Because you might be a little bit heavy or something like that. You don't want them messing with you. So the FMCSA, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, they vet these people, which means they do the stats on the safety rating of them, of the carrier, all the numbers, the out of service violations, safety violations, all that. And who's the carrier? Who's the carrier to second guess the government? They're only going by what they know, what they're seeing. But see, these like I said, these bum brokers are they're hiring these carriers that like I said, chameleon carriers that are popping up, or they've been shut down for safety reasons. They're popping back up, which you should be able to find out that if it was under a different name or something. I mean, they reopened their name. Now I can see, sometimes, the broker, he puts you under the gun. He'd be like, well, they originally supposed to be there this time. Well, you can work, a lot of brokers you can work with. Now I had them already put it off just because I wanted to go somewhere and relax. I had to put it off to the next morning. And then I got something from the company. Well, something blah, blah, blah. Well, you got to go through, you come to us with that first. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, so it's all coming down from that landmark decision from C.H. Robinson's. And Robinson right away is appealing it right away. So they're appealing that, and it's in litigation in government, like everything with trucking, man. This is a real politically motivated industry. There's so many laws and sections of things you wouldn't believe. That's why I'm tongue-tied here this morning. Here, I apologize for at the beginning of the show. So all right, so wait a minute. So we're gonna go to a little break here, and when I come back, it's more on
Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. At 19 years old, he was sent off to war, not really sure what he was fighting for. So he fights for what's behind him and his brothers beside him. Together they'll weather the storm. 9 long months later and he's still alive. Fought several long battles you shouldn't have survived. Then the IED exploded as the ambush unfolded. He laid there bleeding as his brothers all died. Whatever happened to the brave young soldier? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he never once cried, lying with his brothers there by his side. Reinforcements arrived in the nick of time. Old Doc had found him and called in the nightline. He awoke in the hospital. They patched all the holes. Too bad they couldn't fix the ones in his soul. And 16 years later he locks all the doors, unable to find anything worth living for. His family has left him. He feels society rejects him. With a bottle and a pistol, he falls to the floor. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine. They say as he died, he sat there and cried, with only his memories sitting there by his side. Brothers and sisters, we can't lose this war. Have we forgotten what the hell we fought for? Pick up the phone, don't knock on the door. 22 too many, we must carry on, fighting these battles until they are won. We know that we walk on the edge of a knife, but one simple call can save a life. Whatever happened to the brave old veteran? He was a good friend of mine.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.net.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Trucker Mouse Underground Studio. Today we're talking about broker liability. And yeah, it's a real complicated issue, man. It brings it for anyone who's just tuning in or who's not one of my followers here. A broker is someone that acquires a load from a shipper and finds a carrier to haul the load. Okay, he's like the middleman between the shipper and the carrier, which is the trucking company. Okay, so this is broker liability transparency, and to recap, brokers have largely dodged lawsuits alleging they negligently hired unsafe motor carriers involved in serious crashes. A handful of federal courts have put them on the hook, creating a patchwork of liability proceedment. In May, the Supreme Court finally gave the trucking industry much needed certainty in the case of Montgomery versus Carib Transport. This is that Montgomery case I was talking about. Known simply as Montgomery, the High Court ruled that brokers can be held liable for hiring motor carriers that they know were unsafe. Now, if they know they're unsafe, yeah, I understand that. But they know they're unsafe. But if they're just going on what the information they have, I don't see how they can come back on a broker. But the big boys are looking into carriers more that they work with. Okay, so reactions to the decision were swift and wide ranging. Many cheered the ruling, claiming it will be a boon for safe carriers, as brokers will be forced to stop working with cheaper, unsafe carriers that put downward pressure on rates. Okay, so it's going to make the broker work with companies that are more creditable. Help a little bit. Come down just a little bit here. All right. So yeah, and then that gives me a point. So say you call an Uber up to take you somewhere, or one of these ride shares, and they get in a crash to kill somebody. Are you liable because you hired this Uber? I mean, you're in the car, he gets in a wreck. Are you liable because you hired that Uber? That's like a broker. You're hiring somebody to transport something, the cargo, which is me, which is a human, and they get in a wreck, and what are they going to say? Well, you should never hire that Uber. Now, when you hire an Uber, they have some stats there also, safety ratings and reviews about the driver, but who knows what that is? Who knows who put that there? Okay, so the ruling would push any carrier with no proven safety record, disproportionately affecting small carriers and owner-operators. So nowadays you got to have a safety rating, or the big boys ain't going to mess with you. And it's going to probably come down and no one's going to mess with you. But see, if you're a small owner-operator, okay, and you have 3 trucks, and you haven't, just say you're starting out, and you haven't really had pulled over and got safety inspections, you don't have a rating. Okay, so you're and it says they're going to stop working with carriers that about 1 week after the Supreme Court decision, C.H. Robinson updated its requirements for carriers wanting to do business with the broker. These changes include raising insurance minimum rates from $750,000 to $1 million. This is what the trucking companies are going to have to go with these brokers. No longer working with carriers with a conditional safety rating. So you got to have a good safety rating. And someone just starting out, a small fleet's not going to have any safety rating. They're going to have no safety rating, or going to have a conditional safety rating. And they're not going to work with ones that have a conditional safety rating. The 7-day waiting period for new carriers. So I understand that. So if you're a carrier, you want to go with cheap and heavy with the C.H. Robinson. That's what we call them, cheap and heavy. C.H. Robinson, they're going to look into you for 7 days. They're going to look into you and see if they will accept you. And I think that's a good program. That's good there. And carriers deemed high risk using internal metrics not eligible. So yeah, if they see any stats on it all, you're not getting loads from them. So like I said, these bum brokers are hiring these chameleon carriers, these people who can't speak English. Now, if you're a broker, you're not going to know if they're speaking English. But I think this is a good thing that the brokers are doing, looking into the carriers. You have all these people out there, they're still out there, the ones with the non-domiciled CDLs. They're still out there. They're taking them off the road. They're still out there. You got whole truck companies made up of these people. Now, if you're a broker and you see a truck company name, Alamabad or something like that, and you got it. When you talk to the guy, you can barely understand him. So what do you think his drivers are going to be like? Well, actually, in that case, they probably get a regular old American to call the broker up and make them sound like they're legit. So several other large brokers that made changes, including Eco Global Logistics, then Wex Group, RTO, Total Quality Logistics, and JB. Now I heard JB Hunt, but never used them as a broker. Never had them as a broker. Damn. RXO was the only one that responded, and RXO is following strict industry-leading carrier vetting processes. So RXO said, because of the strong programs we have in place in which our selection, our vetting, contracting, and risk management constantly evolving, we have not had to make any specific changes because of the Supreme Court ruling. We remain committed to continuously improving our program to deliver even better service for our customers. Now they're like the five big boys there, I guess, in brokering. So I mean, I dealt with all kind of bums. Roadrunner. I mean, there's just hundreds of bum brokers I dealt with out there, and evidently, they can get these. This damn thing hit me in the head again. I'll rip it off. They can get these bum carriers cheaper, and I guess if the broker gets them in there cheaper, they make more money. Now I was trying to figure out how that works, because you get. You get a load from a shipper. Okay, here's what it pays. It pays $800. Says it's going 600 miles. Just for say, Okay, so I guess the broker gets a percentage of that. So if he can get a carrier in there cheaper, and they say that your independent contractors, your guy with 1, 2, 3 trucks, all work cheaper than your big boys like Slayer now. Their rates must be higher. So, all right. So, what is considered to be unsafe? Secondly, how much vetting does a broker need to conduct to prove that he has done all due diligence? He's got to look into them. He's got to ask them for their reports on their safety things and their all their out of service violations and all that. And probably maybe some places that they haul their loads for, other brokers and that. Okay, so here we go with this thing again. All right, so today was broker liability, and my show's only a half hour, so I got to get going here. Okay, thank you for coming along on the road with Trucker Bell. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.